Hey, good morning. How are you? Can we have a little round of applause for our friend Davin, please? Hey. There's always two sides to a story. I met Dennis. We had this immediate bromance. We went back and forth, and he was in from the get-go. Here's my side. I meet this guy. He's remarkably excited. I start telling the people in my office and my agent to maintain distance between us. I don't know who this guy is or if he can pull this off, but I don't want to invest too much time talking to him until I know he can. I'm from Canada. I still live there. And down here, I've never seen a room with more touchy-feely people in my entire life. There's hugs up, hugs down. It's like a cabinet meeting for Trudeau. No, that's good. I'm not picking on the fella. I'm all into a good hug. So I like to start here with my logo. That costs $25,000. So figure every time I use it, you'll see it's on every slide several times. It's a dollar cost averaging thing. Every time somebody sees it, it gets a little cheaper. Tattooed it right on my kids. So what's scarce? That's where this begins. What's scarce? And for years and years and years, I would give the answer I would give is what's scarce is time, it's finite, et cetera, et cetera. Having said that, I've changed my mind entirely, and the word has come up a few times today. What's scarce is empathy and compassion. Oh yeah. I live in Canada. I just made fun of Mr. Trudeau, but I didn't mean to. And Canada, you have to understand, is a great big country with no people in it. So I actually have friends that know him, that are like buddies with Justin. They went to high school with him. They hang out with him at Heritage Lake, all the things. I'll tell you candidly and straight up front, I never voted for the fella, but I don't doubt in any way that he's not a really super guy. I've heard enough about it to know he's a really decent human being. And one of the things that I heard him say, or I heard secondhand that he said, literally at a barbecue, was empathy, man. That's what we need in Canada. We've lost our way. We have stopped caring. And when you think about how that translates into business, it's there. All good things start with business. Do you know who this is? Julie Andrews, for those of you living under a rock, otherwise known as Maria Von Trapp, otherwise known as my very first crush. Get to know me. This is why, so I have little girls at home, two little girls, Mia, who's 6, and for some of you who maybe read the blog and know about Mia, I used to refer to Mia as a terrorist. She's a terrorist. But we've recently downgraded her to a person of interest. She's all right. Yeah, she's cool now. So I have little Mia and I have little Ella, who's 11 and beautiful, and I just love them both, of course. And we're watching all these classic movies, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. And we've seen The Sound of Music so many times that we can sing along, with every word, right? So one day I'm sitting there at the back and I'm watching the movie and I'm so familiar with it. I'm 50 years old. I've seen it 10,000 times in my life. And I realize this: Maria is a hero for reasons I've completely overlooked. It's not about leading the family away from the Nazis over the mountains. I don't want to say anybody can do that. I'm just saying, no, that's not the thing that's the big story there for me. It's this. There's two kinds of work in the world. There's work that's assigned, and there's work that's required. And what we need more and more is people to do the work that's required and stop waiting for permission. Maria shows up to work. Captain Von Trapp, whoever you are clapping, I like you all. Ready? Just keep that up. Maria shows up to work. Captain Von Trapp is there, himself a Canadian, Christopher Plummer from Montreal. He says, I need a governess. And she says, okay. But then chooses herself to, like, no, you don't. What you need is some deep psychoanalysts, And you need a lady in this house, and somebody's got to love those kids and play with them and get them outside. And Maria courageously chooses herself. She doesn't wait for permission. She doesn't wait for him to figure it out. She risks it all and picks herself to do the work that is required, not assigned. And we live in a world that is highly commoditized. It's connected. You can find anything you want anywhere at any hour of day. And if you want it, you can swipe right. Anything you need, you can go on eBay and have it delivered tomorrow morning by 8 a.m. Therefore, everything has become a commodity. And what has value are two things. Authenticity, certainly. Generosity, certainly. Empathy, absolutely. But there's other things. And what that is somebody's got to do the work that's required, and somebody has to lead us to transformation. So this is something that I say constantly. All work is theater and every business is a stage. All work is theater and every business is a stage. How many people have ever heard of the Experience Economy? Great. So less than half. Okay, well, there's some things you need to understand. which is this. If I said, hey everybody, I'm here to talk about the industrial economy. How many people have heard about the industrial economy? All of you. Exactly. So this is what the experience economy isn't. It isn't anything I invented. It isn't anything convenient. It doesn't mean people like a really good experience. People do like a good experience. What I'm here to help you understand is the difference between service and experience. Those are not the same thing. And hopefully what you'll figure out today is that we mistakenly use service and experience as synonyms, okay? And they're not, okay? So all work is theater, every business is a stage. The experience economy is real. And what it refers to is a fundamental shift in the very fabric of the modern economy, where selling goods and services, no matter how amazing they are, is no longer enough to get you anywhere, okay? That the new predominant economic offering has moved. It's an experience. And what is an experience? An experience happens on the inside. Experiences change. Ask you a question. Have you ever said to yourself, or you're a guest of a business, you say to yourself or somebody you're with, this is amazing. I am never going to forget this. Ever said that? Absolutely. What you had was an experience. The hallmark of an experience is a memory. Have you ever said this? You're a guest of a business or a place, and at the end you say, I'm never going to be the same again. Ever said that? This has forever changed for me what a coffee shop should be. This has forever changed for me what a conference should be. I will never again be able to check into a hotel ever and not think about this. Ever had that happen? That is a transformation. Experiences staged lead to guided transformations. And the question that we all have to be asking is, who do our customers want to become? The customer is the product. You ever seen one of these? We just got these in Canada. We're really excited. We have 7. Yeah. And I live in the capital, so I've got one right downtown. You just go down. It's great. This is a Gumball Machine made by a company called the Gumball Wizard. You'll notice that below it there is a cylinder. And within this cylinder, if I may, there's this little track. I don't know if you can see that from back there, but how this is, in case you've been living under a rock, here's how it works. A customer goes up and puts a quarter into the gumball machine, and then they turn the handle, but they don't get the gumball. Not right away. What they get is a spiraling show as the gumball rolls down the track and it comes out down here. See what I'm saying? Okay, here's what's really, really important. There's something to not be missed. 2 things. Here's the first. Please understand that the spiraling does not in any way change the product. When the ball rolls down there, it doesn't change color. It doesn't get bigger. It doesn't get sweeter. It doesn't improve the product in any way. It doesn't stay chewier longer. Chewiicity. Okay? Nothing. It's just a gumball. Okay, substitute gumball with whatever it is you sell. It's just and they're all the same. Here's the other thing. The spiraling does not in any way improve the service. It makes the service worse. You don't get the gumball right away. If there was a gumball right beside it, I have photos of gumball machines in my phone, which I carry right here. Because everywhere I go, if I just see a regular gumball machine, I take a picture of it, I post it on social media with the hashtag #TryHarder. It's like a giant inside joke between me and the rest of the world that doesn't get it. But if there was one that was just instant, you'd get the gumball right away. So here's the punchline. Even though it doesn't improve the product, and it actually slows down, or if you will, reverses the service, impacts the service, the gumball has more value to the client specifically because of the spiraling. What you're here to figure out today, among some other things, is what's the spiraling of your business? Oh, we're spiraling down, doobie down, down, down. No, that's not the kind of spiraling I mean. You want to hear how funny my old man was? My dad died a few years ago. He was 86 years old. He was a World War II veteran, my dad. So the movie The Lion King, you know the song, The Circle of Life? So I sing it to my daughter one day. I go, it's the circle of life. And my dad looks at me. He's about 80 at the time. And he goes like this. It's a spiral, really. Hilarious. When he had a brain tumor, he was going in to get it out. We're all in the elevator with him. He's lying on a gurney. We're going to bring him down to the really big show. Socialized medicine in Canada. If you want, you can help. So we're all standing there. My brother takes out a measuring tape out of his pocket and measures my dad, like for the casket. My dad literally goes, I know. My dad looks at us, he goes, "You're terrible. That's funny." Here's the 4 serious shifts. Here's the first one. Service and experience aren't the same thing. I've been talking about the experience economy since before the book came out in 1999, somewhere around 1995. It's become the word du jour. Everybody talks about experience and it drives me nuts. Service and experience are not the same thing. So when you say we really want to improve our service to improve our customer experience, you're saying I really want to run in opposite directions at the exact same time. Service is about saving people time and money. That's what service does. Every time you work on service, you commoditize yourselves. Whereas experience is about creating time well spent. Do you know that Starbucks coffee is reversing a lot of their initiatives? They're getting rid of the drive-through. And that their order app is causing them trouble because they're not a transaction shop, they're a relationship shop. So now you can drive through, like what, a Tim Hortons in Canada? They just throw the food at you through the window of your car. The second is the experience economy is its own economic offering, which I'm going to get into. The third is that time is the currency of experience. We use time differently when we're staging what a word experience. And the last is that the customer is the product. Increasingly, everybody in this room looks to the businesses that we support and we measure the value they bring to our life by asking ourselves, who do they help me become? Anybody here, I'm gonna jump right to this to save you guys a whole lot of boring misery. Anybody here wear a Fitbit? There you go. They're partnering in your guided transformation. Does anybody here use the Nike app? There you go. They're partnering in your transformation. Nike is a company you should own shares in. I say that full disclosure, I own shares in Nike. I only invest in companies that are experience staging companies. Experience staging companies have outperformed the S&P 500 by like 260% over the last 5 or 6 years. Much of my work's in the financial services industry. Snooze fest. I gotta keep my personality in check all the time. Yeah, you're one of us. I know. You know what I'm talking about. So all these mutual fund companies will say to me, yeah, and I'll say, yeah, you should have an experience economy mutual fund. And they go, well, it's a great idea. And I go, yeah, you'd need to have me come and help your analysts build it though, because they'd get faked out by service and I never would. I'm looking for experience, not service. This is the economic theory of everything in your life. I promise it'll take 2 minutes. There's 3 things you need to pay attention to here. Differentiated, everything in the world, a competitive position, you want to be highly differentiated. See over on the other side, the needs of your customers. You want to be highly relevant as possible. And finally, here on the bottom, we have pricing. Market pricing over here sells for as little as it possibly can to premium pricing over there. I'll pay as much as I possibly have to. So here it goes. This is life in 2 minutes. 1 million years ago, oh, convenient. 1 million years ago, the predominant economic offering were commodities, which are just raw things you haul out of the ground, the ocean, the forest, or the earth and do nothing to. And they're not in any way, they're completely undifferentiated. A giant pile of coal in southeastern British Columbia is no different than a giant pile of coal in Pennsylvania. It's just coal. It sells for as little as you can possibly pay. A boat full of flopping around salmon, they're just commodities. They're going to sell for as little as they can. A pile of coffee beans, commodities. This lasted thousands of years. It was called the Agrarian Economy. How many people in the room grew up on a farm? That's high. There's probably 10 of you. Okay, if I asked that question 50 years ago, it would have been half the room. Today in the United States, less than 5% of workers work in the agrarian economy. You want to talk experiences? I bring my daughter to a birthday party at the experimental farm in Ottawa. The hell is that? It's where we make strawberries do unfortunate things with tomatoes. If I go there, remember The Simpsons? Tobacco. Remember that? Oh, they're all eating. Now I bring my daughter Mia to a birthday party at the experimental farm so she can milk a goat. We are so removed from the agrarian economy, I now buy a ticket so my daughter can pretend she lives on a farm. This is replaced by goods where suddenly the whole world changes and we say, no. Nobody cares about the commodities. The value is what we turn the commodities in. We turn the trees into 2x4s. And guess what? That's slightly more differentiated. How come your 2x4s are $2 a foot and his are $1 a foot? I have less knots in mine. They're better, they're smoother, they're this and they're that. Little features and benefits, right? The industrial economy, which kicked off right here in this town, did it not? Henry Ford. Factory thinking, which is the problem that we have now. Every single person here was trained to go get a job and do what they're told. That's not what the world needs now, right? Now we need people like Maria, who say, no, you don't need to tell me what to do. In fact, I don't even know why you think you can tell me what to do. I'm gonna go tell myself what to do. And now you're getting a really up-close little perspective into me and my so-called issues with authority. So the industrial economy doesn't last long. It's replaced by the service economy. But note, you pay a little bit more for goods. They're a little bit more relevant to you. You can build a house with 2x4s where you can just kind of look at logs lying on the ground. Replaced by the service economy, where the predominant economic offering is no longer what you buy, it's servicing. Financial planning in the financial world, filling pills in the medical thing, decorating homes, restaurants, driving cars, mowing your lawn, services. Every time the economy evolves, we get the general marketplace to do one of two things: pay for something they used to do for themselves, or pay for something they used to get for free. Service economy does not last long. It's already over. 90% of businesses are stuck in the service economy, have no idea what's going on. No clue. The value is moved. We can buy everything you sell online. Amazon's got you beat. You've got to have something that's beyond the goods and services, and that's the staged experience. Something I want to point out is every time we go up, the previous economic offering is subsumed into the next. The goods are subsumed into the services. Pardon me, the commodities are subsumed into the goods. The goods are subsumed into the services. Everything is commoditized. It just getting cheaper. When something's cheap, it means the marketplace no longer sees value in the manufacturer. Blue jeans are blue jeans. Commoditization means, and I'm going to pay as little as I possibly can. Experiences are staged, services are delivered, goods are made, commodities are extracted. And where we want to go is here, to guided transformation. Here's a question somebody should ask, so I'll ask it. Okay, man, if this economy keeps changing, when does this bus end? There. Guided transformations will be the final and last frontier. Personal change happens on the inside. I so believe this that in my line of work on the consulting side, I charge my client X and I say, you're going to pay me 75%, and that last 25% is entirely up to you. It's about an outcome. So let's say they hire you to do a bunch of goals. We need this done, this done, this done, this done, this done. Okay, I'll do these 5 things. I'm going to charge you $10. For $7.50, these 5 things get done. The next $2.50 is entirely up to you whether or not you give it to me or not. And what I ask my clients to measure is personal transformation. Are you the same person you were when you met me 6 months ago? Good. Okay, and you think that's a neat idea? Yeah, there's this place, it's called Harvard, and they're starting to do it. Okay, so you get this. Now people apply to Harvard, and it used to work this way: goods and services. All you're buying is goods and services. I'm buying access to your professors to get a diploma. Wonderful. Pay us a lot of money, and we'll give you a seat in the class, and we will keep this little social experiment going. Well, now Harvard is and Villanova are trying this new project, which is this. Pay us far less for your tuition, and we will partner in your transformation. So later when you're a Harvard lawyer and you phone us and say, like, I'm a Harvard lawyer, like legit. People don't like me, and I got an office, and it's all great. Like I'm a lawyer. Then Harvard says, awesome, and they're gonna participate in all of your paychecks for the rest of your life. That's the way to go. Who are you helping your customers become? Harvard's helping you become a lawyer, and then you're gonna pay them forever, a little wee bit. So Harvard is not gonna get their money until later. Isn't that interesting? This is what the progression of economic value looks like when you experience it every day. You can buy and what's interesting is that there are successful businesses operating on every level of this strata, right? So if you want to go buy a bag of coffee beans, just watch this. You want to buy a bag of coffee beans, raw beans? Buy a bag as big as this podium for about $5. They're totally useless to you. They're not even roasted. They're just dirty. They're dirty. There's a leaf in there and a bug. If I scoop out 1 pound and I roast that and I put it in some packaging and I put it in your grocery store, you'll pay me $5 or $10 for a pound. Oh yeah, gets better. As I said, you will now pay me for something you used to do for yourself or get for free. Hold on. How many beans go into a cup of coffee? I don't know. I don't know either. But I use this example all the time, and every time I do, I think I should really find out. Well, let's just say I had a table, a coffee maker, and some coffee beans. If I ground up 5 beans and I ran hot water through it, do I have enough coffee to drink it? Oh, yeah. I don't know, Dennis. I like mine really strong. Okay, 7 beans. You can buy a bag of coffee beans for $10 that's that big if you buy them direct. Okay? You can buy a bag of 1 pound for $10. If I've roasted it and made it a little bit more relevant and usable for you, you'll give me $2.50 for a cup of coffee all day long if I deliver the service. Have a nice morning. Yeah. Even there's a little corner store near my cottage up in the middle of Quebexico, and it is so far in the middle of nowhere, they don't even know that the Second World War is over, and that guy can look you right in the eye and go, $2.50, my friend, okay? Now, take that $2.50 cup of coffee and walk it down the street to Starbucks. I use these words intentionally. Surround it with the theater of a Starbucks. Oh, all work is theater, every business is a stage. The coffee's not the coffee. The coffee's the memorabilia. Go see a band, buy the t-shirt. What you're paying for is the stranger you've been rubbing up against all afternoon, and you look at them and go, this is awesome. That's what you're paying for. That's the memory. The t-shirt's the memorabilia. So you stroll into Starbucks, you look right at a person who you are pretty sure is a convict on account of the neck tattoo. But that doesn't make you a convict anymore. It's a new world. When you were a kid in the 70s, which was the greatest decade ever, that's when I was a kid, every hug any kid ever got in the 70s looked like this. Hello, honey, how are you? Do you know why? Because everybody had a cigarette in one hand, a cocktail in the other. So, it was awesome. And, thank you very much. I don't want to pick on anybody who's not here, but let me pick on some people who weren't here. You got to spend more time in rooms full of financial advisors. No wonder I secretly drink a lot. Oh my God, you guys are laughing a ton. So I go into Starbucks, like in the 70s, if a guy had a tattoo, he was a prisoner or had just been released. You know what I mean? And if your friend's dad said, do you want to stay for dinner? We're having nothing but fudge. You'd be like, no, I'm leaving. You're a bad man. Now your boss has a tattoo on his hand. Here's $5 for that coffee. No, how much is that coffee? It's $3.80. Okay, here's $5. Keep the change. Get yourself another tattoo. Do you know that it's a stated goal at Starbucks that when you're in line and it's your turn next to order and they say, yeah, can I get you something, that they want you to feel a moment of disappointment? Because after you wait in line, you got to order. And after you order, the show's over. You either sit down and have a coffee or you go, but either way, you're a long way from the beginning of this experience, aren't you? What was the beginning? Anticipating getting there. People don't go to Starbucks to buy coffee. They go for community, empowerment, consistency. I've seen it all happen there. Full disclosure, I've been a shareholder in Starbucks forever. I remember buying it when all the clowns on TV were saying, don't buy it, it's overvalued. I immediately bought a whack, as much as I could at the time, and I said to my wife, who's been around forever, I go, Sherry, every one of those morons on TV has spent more at Starbucks this morning already than their share price is worth, and they're telling us not to buy it. Create time well spent. So this little story about getting my hair cut, this one right here, a snappy little number. Been getting my hair cut at the same place forever and a day, okay? It's 5 minutes from my house. It opens at 6 o'clock in the morning. It closes at 8 o'clock at night. It's at the back door of a strip mall. Yeah. I can drive there in 5 minutes at 6 o'clock in the morning with no traffic, run red lights. Doesn't matter, nobody's on the street. I parked behind the mall. It's not even parking because it's 4 acres of pavement and nobody else there. I just sort of abandoned my car. Leave the door wide open, money all over the seat. It's Canada. You come back out, all your money's been organized. There's a note. Are you all right, man? Are you okay? You're near a few hospitals. Davin's there hugging. What the hell? The only thing they could do to make the experience easier for me is to install a revolving door. So as I get in my car, I just have to walk forward. When you go into the mall, there's two businesses on the left. Oh, it doesn't matter. Here, there's one business before my barber shop. This is a travel agency. It's like the last Blockbuster store. I was like, you still exist? Her niche market. People who don't have the internet. Right beside her is my barber shop. In a nod to the experience economy, they've decorated the outside of the place to look like a little store downtown. There's an awning and a leaded window and a barbershop pole and a bench and a wino. It's perfect. So I go in. It's like, hey, fellas. Hey, how you doing? Good. I sit right down and I get this done. It costs $15. Then I tip out. I give them 20. Player, take the 20. Take the 20. Build that edition. And out the door I go, and I can literally go home, make breakfast for my kids. Like, they don't even know I've left the house. Isn't that perfect? That's service. It's all about saving me time and money. It's a haircut for next to nothing, and it takes 10 minutes, and the only reason that I go there is it saves me, okay? I go down the street. No. Then I'm having breakfast one day with my wife, and this mom comes up, and she has her son, and she says, oh, I'm taking him down the street to get him all hipstered up. I say, what? She goes, well, you know that barber shop down the street? Because I'm taking Dexter there. I went, what's your son's name? She goes, Dexter. I went, wow. Like after the show? She goes, yeah. I'm like, Dexter needs to need a lot of help later on. She leaves. I say, Sherry, I'm going to go get my hair cut there. I'm going to go there. And Sherry says, okay. I said, it's going to cost way too much money, but I don't care. I'll write it all off and call it research on the experience economy. So I walk down the street anticipating, and I'm looking at the sidewalk, and down where I think this place is, I see a little living room on the sidewalk, and I think, oh, I so hope that that's the barber shop. Because the living room on the sidewalk would have absolutely nothing to do with getting your hair cut, kind of like the spiraling, and that would delight me in ways I cannot describe here. But I will later, okay? So I get there, I'm checking it, I'm doing what you do, I'm looking for impressions. Ooh, this is it, this is the place. What are they trying to tell me about themselves? I look at their font, their colors, old school masculinity, service. What are they trying to tell me? How are they justifying what I'm going to pay here? And then I see this picture on the wall or on the window, and it's of Christopher Walken, the actor, and it says, yes, we accept Walkens. Just like you, I laugh. That's pretty good. Entering, I walk in. When I walk in, I'm totally immersed. It's a cool looking place. It's all decorated a certain way. There's skateboards all over the wall, all this amazing things. All works theater, every business is a stage. Everybody's playing a role. This guy looks at me and he walks up and he goes, hey, how are you? He goes, you haven't been in before. I'm just looking. No, I haven't. It's cool though, I like this. He goes, right on. Do you want to cut? I said, yeah, for sure I do. How, and I'm just checking it all out. Go, how, yeah. He goes, what's your name? I go, he says, I could cut your hair in about, blah, blah, blah. I can get you in. I said, okay, cool. He goes, what's your name? I go, Dennis. He goes, hey, Dennis, I'm Josh. Instantly, I hear someone go, Dennis, like this. And I look over, I think it's going to be a guy I know. It's not. It's another guy that works there. They're not wearing uniforms. They're kind of got a motif going. Lumbersexual. This guy's the other end of the saw, as it were. He says, do you want a coffee? I say, yeah. He says, right on. It's 11:15. Do you want an Irish whiskey in it? As he walks away, which is ridiculous, right? So I go, yes. I'm sitting down. I'm taking it all in, okay? I haven't even got my haircut yet. When I sit down, I get this haircut. This haircut is done with a buzzer. Ladies, look around. Every man in this room has the same haircut. Every one of us. Number 2 on the side, 3 in the top, pushed over. Number 2 on the side, 3 in the top, pushed back. Same. Okay, and then you find the bald guy. We'll be there. Okay? Doesn't matter. Takes him 5 minutes to cut my hair. It's nothing new, like I'm going to burn your hair off with fire. It's not like, what am I paying? It's like, hey man, how are you? You're good. But when I pay the bill, spiraling, it's $40. You haven't even heard the rest of it. So I give him 50, tell him to keep it. I know. And in Canada, a 50 is red. When you hand one over, you notice, like, whoa, I never hand these out. Unless I'm at the grocery store. When I walk outside, I look back on the thing, okay? As though it's been like some mirage, you know? And I don't think to myself, I've been had. What I think is, why have I been denying myself this pleasure on a bi-weekly basis? Like, what the hell? Now everything has changed. It's no longer about saving time and saving a buck to get a haircut, which occasionally I go there because I'm in a rush and I got to get to the airport and I know I can get in. It's not. It's about an entirely different experience and who that experience helps me become, even temporarily. The customer is the product. These are the 4 realms of experience: education, entertainment, escapist, and aesthetic. I'm just going to walk you through the barber shop. There's not too much education going on. The sweetest experiences in the world are those that pull from all 4 realms all the time. So there is actually an element of education in there, because I mentioned the skateboards. Okay, I'm not a skateboard guy. I was never a skateboard guy, but I've noticed they constantly change the skateboards. There's a local guy in town. He collects them. This is where he shares all of his art. So every time I go, the experience is different, because while I wouldn't want to hang it in my own home, I will admit it's fascinating to look at. Entertainment, the place is fun. Everybody's talking, laughing. It's all good. The aesthetic, old school masculinity, wood, lovely stuff, cool uniforms, cool gears. Like, it's totally amazing. Escapist, that's your experience. The questions you want to be asking yourself: how can I make it more fun? In addition to technical, what do I want people to learn? My very favorite, escapist, how can you shift your client into a different reality? And finally, aesthetic, what can you do to encourage them to linger? I was chatting with our friends from Big B Coffee at the back. I'm a coffee fan. I'm a coffee business fan. And I love those ladies. They're so nice. I'm like, do you guys own a coffee shop? It should become a record store. Give them a reason to linger. It's not about the coffee. I want to go in, screen printing, record thing, a microphone, a stand, and a global audience. Come in and record a song, play a song, let the whole world see it, and pay $3 for a coffee. Okay, this is some of my greatest. This is the Capital One Cafe. You're actually looking at a bank. Does that look like a bank to you? Everything's available online. Who needs to go to a bank? Does anybody want to get a mortgage? Get it in the next 5 minutes on your phone. Got to buy a mutual fund? Get it online. Will and estate planning? Get it online. It's all there. They're changing it. Instead of going in and you're waiting for them in line, and they're behind the counter waiting to sell you stuff, you're the customer. You're the product now. Come on and get changed. Every one of your baristas is also a licensed financial advisor. Is that enough foam? Yeah. Are you diversified? What? Candidly, I'm running out of time, and this is important, so I'm going to do it fast. I'll send you guys all my slides somehow. Yes. Can we do that, brother? Did I just make that a job for you? Thanks, Dennis. That's going to be great. Maybe I will work on Saturday. All my slides and notes you can have, okay? This is just the theme scheme. This belongs to Disney. Theme and impressions, harmonizing cues, the things you eliminate, signature moments, the things that you do for your clients they learn to love, like when you go to the grocery store and they welcome you when you come in, or you go to Dairy Queen and you get a Blizzard for your daughter and they turn it upside down. It's a signature moment. You leave the hospital, they give you a bill or whatever. And then here's memorabilia. Okay? The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose is to give it away. Right? None of us are in the business that we say we're in. I'm in the business of systems, process, and measurement. Jesus, really? Oh God, yeah. It's so much worse than you actually know. Yeah. But those are just the things. Nobody cares about them. I sit them to the back. I'm actually in the business of human engineering. I'm trying to turn my clients into different people, and I always know I've done my job when my client says, hey, by the way, my wife says I'm way more fun since I started talking to you two. Enter the lizard, my friends. Thank you. So here's the deal. And I'm sure you've heard this before. Inside each and every one of us, we've got this really old part of our brain, affectionately known as your amygdala, known by others as your lizard brain. And I'm just going to tell you it's a real thing. And it's what stands in the way of all of us doing anything. Got an uncomfortable conversation you got to have at home to clear the air. Having an issue with one of your friends at work, you got to smooth it over. Got to take somebody for a coffee and say, we're not reading each other right. It makes you really uncomfortable. So you decide, well, it's already Tuesday. We'll have this conversation next Monday. That's the lizard. Anybody here trying to quit smoking? And you're like, I'm going to quit smoking. And the lizard's saying, yeah, you should do that, but smoke those last 11 first. I mean, after all, you'll never smoke again. The lizard does not like you to do anything at all that makes you uncomfortable because it has its wires crossed. It thinks that if you're uncomfortable, you're unsafe, and that's not true. Okay? You're just going to do something new. We've all done lots of things new, and for the first time in our life, some of us learn to do it over and over again, get really good at it. But that first time's really scary. But the lizard will freak out on you and make you think, oh no, don't do that. You're not going to win, you're going to lose. You're going to lose over and over again. And you won't. Hiding in plain sight is a really dangerous thing. Not innovating is a really dangerous thing. You got to fail over and over again to succeed. And I say that with a lot of personal experience, because if you keep failing but you keep playing, you got to be really good to keep playing. So every time I try something new or different or whatever, sometimes I get a little burned. It really doesn't matter. I just pick up and do it again the next day. So having said all of that, Davin, thank you very much for having me down. Thank you for this opportunity. Here we all are.